Speaking of religious freedoms, my first guest tonight just got a big win for religious freedom after the woke mob came after him. Shawnee State University must now pay, I like the sticker, thanks guys, must now pay Professor Nick Meriwether over $400,000. Good for this prof. Now, why did this professor win? Because in 2018, the university demanded that he use students' preferred pronouns when addressing them, especially a specific trans student, I'm told. He says the university demands were an attack on his religious beliefs and, of course, his freedom of speech. I say it all the time. You're not making me say those pronouns. And you're not going to cancel me because I won't. Try it. Now, after a long fight against the university, guess what? He brought home that big win for his right to use the biological pronoun associated with his students. Here now, that Shawnee State University professor, Dr. Nick Meriwether, along with his attorney, Tyson Langhofer. Welcome, gentlemen. I want to begin tonight with the professor and the attorney both and just say congratulations on this win. This is a big, big win for the big guy upstairs, not just you two, and for all Christians in this country. Dr. Meriwether, let's begin with you, though. How did this all start? Did a student come at you and say, you're not using my correct pronouns, and then take it to the administrators, and then they came to you and said, you need to do this? Kind of back up and give us the backstory.
Well, in broad outline, that's pretty accurate. A student approached me after class. I had called on the student and had used sir in calling on him. That's the way I address students. So the student approached me after class and said, you're going to have to refer to me as a female. And I explained to the student I couldn't do that. I sought an accommodation where I would only use his proper name, but that was not good enough for the university. Initially, they agreed that I could do that, but then they changed course and they were going to try to require me to use either preferred pronouns, or I was going to have to drop all pronoun and title usage in all my speech, and I couldn't do that. That would be coerced speech. That's how I thought about it, so I filed the lawsuit.
Good for you. This has been a long time coming. You filed this how long ago?
Well, it was in fall of 2018, so it's been about 3 years.
Wow. Okay, so let me just clarify this so the viewers at home get it, because there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe where they live or whatever, this is never even brought up. It's not a discussion, right, around the family dinner table. So this was a biological male who wanted you to use pronouns for a female. You said, I'm not doing that. It goes against free speech and my freedom of religion. However, I'll use your female name you're going by now. So instead of Jack, I'll call you Jill. Yeah. And that wasn't good enough for him, nor was it good enough for the hierarchy at your university.
Yes, initially the administration agreed to that, but then they changed course and decided to try to coerce my speech. And I said, well, I can't do that. And thus we had the lawsuit. Wow. That is correct.
Mr. Langhofer, congrats on the win. This, to me, we keep hearing stories like this every other day. This has got to set a big precedence now for these types of cases, because this isn't the first time we've heard of where someone got in trouble because they wouldn't use the right pronouns according to the woke mob.
You're absolutely right. This is not an isolated incident, unfortunately. We've got individuals calling us from across the country who are running into the same problem. I mean, Dr. Meriwether, he went out of his way to accommodate all of his students and treat them all with respect. This just goes to show that public colleges have no business, compelling people to speak messages that they disagree with. That's contrary to the First Amendment, and it's really contrary to the purpose of the university, which is to be a marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, and this is such a big win, because this has been something that's been weighing on me. A lot of my friends, I've said some stuff's got me in heat on this show from the radical left, and I'll continue to say it because I'm a Christian, and I'm not going to go against what I believe in, because when I see a man or a woman, that's what God created. That's what I'm going to call them. Now, in their head, they might think there's something else, but I'm sorry, they were born this way. And I'm so glad, Tyson, that you took this case up, and Dr. Meriwether, that you had the intestinal fortitude to see this through for 3 years. My final question is, what's it like now on campus? How are you being treated? Is everything kind of like, what's happening in your life now that you went through all this for 3 years?
Well, I wanted to come back to one point. I could not hear Tyson, but I wanted to make a point. This is really not about the student. This is about an ideology that I was being required to endorse. And I think that is the tragic thing about it. It's also the very problematic part of it, because the university should be a place of discussion and debate where all views are welcome. We shouldn't be an assembly line for one type of thought. Unfortunately, that was what was happening. That is why we had to file the lawsuit. The university had become a place where a certain orthodoxy had to be enforced, and I was going to be a victim of that.
Well, Doctor, I think we know that majority of universities around this country, unfortunately, have accepted that if you're not on board with their narrative, their agenda, their mission, the old days of free speech and a place like college campuses used to be for ideals to blossom and flourish and people to be themselves, that's long gone. Thanks to this woke liberal movement in this country on college campuses. Dr. Nick Meriwether, his attorney Tyson Langhofer, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the program and for fighting this good fight.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Take care, guys.